right, everyone. I'm going to welcome another guest to the channel, a good friend of mine, Sean Nayden. Welcome, Sean.
Bobby,
How are you?
I'm doing good.
How's 40K?
We don't play very much anymore.
I
I
know, it's
almost
really
went to a
sad.
tournament last weekend. It didn't happen.
I
It got
heard about
canceled.
that.
I was
Yeah,
sad.
that would have been fun.
It would have been a lot of fun.
I know
A
it's
lot
been
of
quite
fun.
some time since I've thrown some models on a table, but yeah, I mean, one can understand. That's one of the best things about virtual gaming is that you can play and connect with your friends, and I'm excited to play with some people that I haven't played with in a long time. And Sean, we have not played D&D before, so I'm really excited to have you on.
Yeah, I was very excited to try this out. I haven't played pen and paper D&D since I was in high school, long time ago. Several, I guess, editions ago. Huge fan of the Baldur's Gate series, especially Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. If you've never got the chance to play it on computer, on PC, it's incredible on the iPad. Incredible on the iPad.
Really, on the iPad? Wow,
Oh yeah, it's like best edition of it ever
that's
on the
awesome.
iPad.
I didn't
So
know that. I did not know that.
yeah, I got a
Um,
bunch of people to buy it a couple years ago at a GT. I was playing it in between rounds. People were like, "Are you playing Baldur's Gate?" And I was like, "Yep." It was like on sale, like for like $5-6 on the iPad that day. It was like they're like, "Oh."
that's great. It's so funny. Some people do they remember the video games really fondly. Um, it's D&D's been around forever, but it's so much into the culture that everybody has their own kind of story or connection to it. It feels like.
Yeah, and
Um,
a bunch of people are picking it up now with like
yep.
Stranger Things showcasing it and on TV and stuff again for like a whole new generation. So
Yeah,
very
exactly. And lots
cool.
of other shows like Critical Role that are showcasing D&D. Tabletop Bob, of course, high level
Mm,
D&D.
the
So
best D&D.
that's right. So when did you start playing D&D? Which edition?
Would it be what 3.5
Yeah, probably.
and technically Baldur's Gate is second edition, so I have a lot of knowledge of how second edition works. Little THACO, little
Yeah.
to hit armor class 0
Yep.
world. But
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's it's a good start. 3.0 and 3.5 are, I think, kind of like the skeleton of the fifth edition is very similar. The mechanics are, the basic mechanics of the game are similar, so I think you'll pick it back up pretty quickly. For those people who are here for just D&D, who are you in the 40K world?
I'm a semi-regular player who likes to attend events from here to there and other places in between.
Yeah, any big tournaments that you've ever gone to that people might know?
I've been to most of every big event in America and other parts of the world as
The
well.
world?
So
Yes. Sean is the captain of the American team. Most 2 years ago, won the whole thing.
sure
You
did.
brought the gold home. Excellent.
Mm,
So that now that that's out of the way, let's talk about your character. So you're going to be joining us for a one-shot game where we're playing with Wargamer Fritz,
hmm
Chris Jowlballs Dubuque, and the legend himself, Andrew Rubino.
The most legendary
Yeah, he's a fan.
player
He's
in that
actually a
group.
fan
He
favorite.
is
He's a fan
whew,
favorite.
the
So
Rubinator.
we already know their party, the rest of the party. Andrew's playing a wizard.
Okay.
Fritz playing a sorcerer. So two arcane spellcasters already. And Chris is a rogue. Tell everyone what you were thinking of playing.
So I was thinking of playing a combat-based cleric. I knew a couple of weeks ago we were talking about we might need a tank, we might need a healer.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'll just be a little bit of both and throw in a little bit of crazy on the side. I mean, I think D&D is part of it is like just be a little crazy. So my little sister got married recently, so it reminded me of some of the things
Oh,
we used to
congratulations.
do, and one of the things one of our inside jokes was always this the annoying movie teenager girl voice, and like, oh my god, Becky, like, can you believe what she did? So I thought that this would be a fun experience to annoy a whole class of people. I won't try not to do it too much so your viewers don't turn it off and be like, but you gotta get the
The
hair
hair flip.
flips in and rock it out and be a character. So it'll just be a little fun. I feel like my cleric, and why I want to be a cleric instead of just a straight fighter, is I want her to have a dark backstory where she maybe, you know, there was an accident and her best friend died. Did she do it? Did she not do it? Like, was she involved? You know, what happened? But she talks to this best friend, Becky or Becca, and we don't know if she's actually using her talk to the dead powers, or if she's just doing it out of, you know, like guilt or missing her friend, you know, like, which is, I feel like something also like COVID has done with us, where like we don't see the friends we want to. So like, you know what I mean, where it's all disconnected, and that kind of thing appeals to me, because that part of COVID has been something that I've tried to talk about, is that you know, the mental health awareness and being aware of like depression and stuff like that is really hard when people can't see each other or can't hang out and can't do their regular stuff. So
yeah, it's really challenging. And I like how you brought it full circle here, you know, talking about this premise that's generally silly, but also, you know, seated in realism and actual problems in the world. So that's the best characters, when they're kind of multifaceted like that. You're going to have some fun with it, but there'll be a lot of opportunity for solid role playing. All right, so we're going to roll your ability scores and see how you do. Now, I gave this option to Fritz and Chris. Basically, if you don't receive a +5 on your bonuses, I would allow for a reroll. That's what I did for all my games, basically. But I know sometimes the Warhammer players like it hardcore, so it's your call. You're going to be rolling 4 dice, dropping the lowest. That'll give you 3 dice as a result. You'll roll 6 times, and we can assign them to the abilities that you would like. All right?
I don't know if you've ever been familiar with Baldur's Gate 2, but I will sit there for 45 minutes until I roll up the best character I possibly can.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the first roll we got. Ooh. So first roll is a 7.
That's bad.
But you know what? That's good role-playing opportunity right there. That's what that is.
Still not rolling great.
Not great. That was a 9, if I'm seeing it correctly.
Yep. A little better.
There you go. So that's a 14. Well, now you figured it out. 17. Excellent.
Woo.
Okay. So rolling 6s in 40K is the same as rolling 6s in D&D. We got another 14. That's actually not as good as it looks. That's a 7, 12. Okay. But solid here.
One was a leaner. Like, that's a leaner. That's like a... You gotta re-roll that 3-6. I'm re-rolling that one. That's a leaner.
Go for it. Go for it.
How do I roll a d6?
You just
yes, nailed it. Fucking nailed it.
You got it. So that'd be a 15. You got a leaner. All right. So Sean, excellent scores here, and I love the fact that you have 2 negative scores, because it'll be just perfect for role playing. So you got a 7, which ends up being a -2 stat. That's going to be the one you want to dump stat. The 9 is a -1. Then your 14 is +2. Your 17 is +3. Your 14 is +2, and your 15 is +2. So with the right racial choice, you could very easily bump a couple of stats up pretty high here. I mean, I think a lot of people think of a fighting cleric to be a dwarf. That would bump up your strength and con. Those are 2 that you want.
Player.
What's that?
I'm an Eldar player, Bob.
I figured that. Yeah. Wood Elf does get the bump to wisdom, which is huge.
Wood Elf, because what are the elven options in this edition?
So the ones from the player's handbook would be the Wood Elf, the Drow, the High Elf.
You know I love Drizzt.
Yeah, you like Drizzt? So they get charisma and dexterity. All elves get the +2 to dex, so that will be a big bonus.
And go like a fast, roguish kind of druid. Or roguish kind of cleric.
Yeah, you could. You want to be the drow, it's fine. You could be drow. They get charisma, which isn't terrible. You know, you could be the face of the party. People trust a cleric. It's possible.
But they don't trust the drow.
But they don't trust the drow. Yeah. Although we're not gonna fall into these stereotypes, Sean. Not on my game. Actually, I loved
This
the Drow. I played a Drow sorcerer in my first character of this edition, and I loved it. So
plus they're famous for having clerics. I don't know why they like the whole ruling class of
right, like a priest.
their
Yeah,
society are all female clerics actually.
yeah, yeah. So then let's do it. Let's go
Yeah.
Drow. Elves are actually pretty good too. You have all
I'm
those
playing a
like
lot of
the fey
Drukhari right
stuff.
now in 40K, so
Oh, so perfect.
we were always going to end up as a drow. Like,
Yeah, so charisma by 1. You have superior dark vision up to 120 feet. You do get sunlight sensitivity, so you'll have disadvantage on attacks and your wisdom perception checks when you're in direct sunlight. So that could be avoided though. Drow magic, you'll get dancing lights, which is a cantrip, an easy to cast spell. You'll also get fairy fire because we're at 5th level. That's something you get at 3rd, and you can cast the darkness spell at 5th level
darkness. Yeah.
once per day.
Dritz.
Yeah, and you also
Yeah.
get proficiency with rapiers, short swords, and crossbows. In addition to all the elf traits, which would be the dexterity, you also get keen senses. Perception is proficiency. You also get fey ancestry. You have advantage against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. You also don't need to sleep. You can meditate for 4 hours a day, and you speak Elvish. So those are your elven abilities.
Yeah, so I think we put let's put the high one in wisdom. Why not?
Yeah.
Is this check mark of 3 in wisdom and charisma? Am I getting a natural already in that?
Yep. For being a cleric, these are your saving throws. So clerics.
Oh, these are saving throws, not
Yeah,
stats.
clerics give their proficiency to wisdom and charisma. So in 3.0,
Gotcha.
do you remember there was reflex, will, and fortitude? Those were the saving throws. In this game, rather than having specific things get bonuses, you just have a straight up proficiency bonus. If you're proficient in that thing, you add it to it. So at 5th level, your proficiency is at 3, which would basically, that's why your wisdom is going up as we make the ability score increase, and charisma already is at 3.
Yep.
At 1st level, you're going to get this War Priest feature. You can basically attack as a bonus action, so you can do your normal attack and attack again, which is something that mostly
Fighters.
the double attack, that clerics don't really get that. Channel Divinity, you get at 2nd level, you can once per rest get a +10 to your attack roll, which is huge. So that's one special thing. It doesn't say any restrictions about weapons you use or anything like that, so you could do that.
Yeah, so rapiers and stuff like that, they would be damage based on dexterity.
Yep,
Damage and hit based on dexterity.
Correct. In this edition, that's how you do it. Okay. So, yeah, we might be able to dump that. Although, we could even choose a different cleric domain. Doesn't necessarily have to be war if we're not getting that much benefit from it.
Fair.
So we can kind of circle around in a minute.
We could circle around to it and explore it.
Yeah. All right, so then let's start with the dex, because that might be worthwhile to explore here. So do you want to put a 14 in there? That would bump up to a 16?
Sure. Well, I think you want to put 15 there, right?
Sure. I think so. That's pretty good. And now at 4th level, you'd be getting a straight up ability increase. Would you want to 1-in-1 the con and wisdom? So you'd have a +3 in con and a +4 in wisdom?
Probably, right?
I think so. You have 2 very large, even numbers. It'd be nice to see them bump up to get the next modifier.
Yeah. You mean odd numbers?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, you want them to be even.
I feel like, based on what we're doing, 7 should be strength.
Hey, you know what? Do you need strength?
I don't know. Does it involve like what I can carry?
It does, but if you're not wearing heavy armor,
Then
it really won't restrict you too much. The armor's the big one.
Yeah, armor's the heavy one.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that we want to be dumb. 9 is like average, right?
10 is like, yeah 0.
Yeah.
9 is -1. Little dumb.
Yeah. Little dumb. Because I feel like I'd rather be a little dumb and a lot charismatic.
Yeah.
Versus If you're playing a computer game, the high number would go on strength. You wouldn't care about charisma, and then the next number would go on intelligence, right? Based on his character. But I feel like when you're trying to role play, you don't want to be quite as dumb as a rock.
I think the charisma being a 15 is smart. And then you have the 7 and the 9. It's really up to you.
Yeah, it's I think it's good right there.
Yeah. Okay. First level as a cleric, you get your spell casting and your divine domain. So that's what we have to choose. And this might be the time we look at some of the options and decide what's best. So I'm just going to read through like the titles. You tell me if anything jumps out at you. Knowledge domain. I don't think this is you. Life domain. These are like the healing clerics, the most healing ones. Light domain. This is more about like fire, radiance, nature. So it'd be more of like a druidish type cleric. Tempest of the storms. Trickery, and war. And those are the ones from the player's handbook. There are others, which we could crack open Xanathar's Guide and Tasha's Cauldron if you really want to, but I don't know how down the rabbit hole you want to go for this.
I'm ready for rabbit holes, Bobby. I'm ready for anything.
Okay.
What do you got for me? Give me something spicy.
Spicy? Okay, I can go spicy.
Come on, we've talked about my character. She's unstable. She talks to the dead, and she wants to punch people in the face. What god speaks to her the most?
Twilight domain.
Twilight. Ooh.
Your drow. Twilight domain.
You're talking to me now. Yeah. Harlequin. That's like player in Twilight. That's Harlequins.
Yeah.
That's all day.
Okay, so here's what you get as a Twilight cleric. At first level, you see through the deepest gloom. You have dark vision out to 300 feet.
But okay, so does this one, is it crossing too much with my natural abilities?
Well, you have 120. This would improve it. So yeah, it does cross over a little bit, but it would improve it by quite a bit. You can also, as an action, magically share this dark vision feature with willing creatures that you can see within 10 feet of you. So your party could gain it. And you could do that up to a number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier, so 4. And that would be the whole party if you wanted to do that. This shared dark vision lasts for an hour. Once you share it, you can't do it again until they finish a long rest. You also, at first level, get this domain feature. The knight has taught you to be vigilant. As an action, you give one creature you touch, also could be yourself, advantage on the next initiative roll the creature makes. This benefit ends immediately after the roll, or you use this feature again. And then
I could simulate basically that idea of me talking to this dead chick all the time, like
your sister like, warning you. Yeah, yeah, that's totally doable there. And then at second level, as an action, you present your holy symbol, and a sphere of twilight emanates from you, centered on you. It has a 30-foot radius and is filled with dim light. The sphere moves with you, lasts for a minute, or until you're incapacitated or dead. Whenever a creature, including you, enters the sphere, you can grant that creature one of these benefits. Temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your cleric level. You end one effect on it, causing it to be charmed or frightened. So if your friend is charmed or has fear effect going on, you just get them in your bubble, and you stop that effect. I'm liking this a lot for this character.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Okay.
I dig it.
Yeah. All right. So the one thing you need to do next would be skills. You don't get that many. Cleric's kind of like, you get 2. You can choose history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. I mean, I know it's weird to think of a cleric that doesn't take religion, but you're kind of like, your intelligence is -1. Your religion checks are still going to be pretty bad. So I don't know.
Which one? Which one are wisdom or charisma based?
Insight is wisdom.
That's what I was going to say. Insight.
Let's do medicine is wisdom. The other 2 are intelligence. So, insight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what it does, but it sounds like what my character.
A lot of people use it as like the lie detector skill, although it really should not be thought of that way. It could also give you some ideas, like if you're trying to figure out something, perhaps I could give you a hint with your insight check, depending how well you get.
Hmm.
So we're going to tick off insight and persuasion. Hit points. So at 5th level, a cleric starts with a d8, and it's always a full. So 8 plus your con. So at 1st level, you would have started with an 11. And then every level after that, you get half a hit dice plus 1. And then you add your con. So it would have been 5 plus your con of 3. So that's 8 for every level after that. I'm really glad that you have decent con because everyone else's hit points are so low. 8, 8, 8, that's 24, 32. You have 43 hit points. All right, your speed is 30 feet. The background options are hermit, noble, soldier, sage, urchin, spy, pirate.
I feel like urchin works well with this character based on what we're like trying to do with her. Like was she, you know, just on the streets and that's where her friend died? We don't know. I haven't fleshed that out yet. So
Right.
I feel like that fits in.
Okay.
Especially
Yeah.
if she's a drow on the surface.
Sure. Yep.
Maybe
Yeah.
we had like, maybe it was that, or maybe it was like another elf of like a different race. But like
Right.
once she died and I got blamed or something, then I had to go back being on my own.
The only thing we have to do is buy your equipment. In terms of armor, just you're gonna take studded armor. It's the best light armor. Seems like that's the way we're going with your character because you're gonna want to take advantage of +3 to dexterity. So that would give you a 15 armor class, and we'll have studded leather. What do you think this person's favored weapon would be?
Or just any like, or what is her natural thing? Rapiers.
Rapiers
thing.
are rapiers are the drow's weapon here.
Yeah.
Do you want any other weapons though? Like you are proficient with hand crossbows as a drow. Do you want to take a crossbow just as a ranged weapon backup?
Bobby, don't you know how I play 40K?
All combat.
If we ain't stabbing, we ain't trying. I've been playing a lot of shooting elements though in my 9th edition lists. I'm not gonna lie, people think it's hilarious, but I think the hand crossbow is true drow, and she's been separated from that. She's not that. And I think she's gonna. I think if this person that died and she grew up with was a light elf, they use bows, and she would have been told that she's not allowed to use a bow because she's a drow. You know, so she's got the rapier, and that's what she's got.
Okay. So I think we're looking good here. Just to summarize here, you are a Twilight Domain drow cleric. I love it. And you have a sister who communes with you from beyond.
Yeah, so one of my spells, the party's going to get mad. One of my 3rd level spells will always be Talk to the Dead.
There you go.
It's locked in.
Talk to the Dead. I think it's going to be fun. We have a good group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get some nonsense in.
Yeah. It's going to be great. 5 days. We'll be playing Warhammer 40K Players Play Dungeons and Dragons here on Tabletop Bob. Don't miss it. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alrighty. Bye, everybody. See you on the tabletop.